Okay, so in the last video, I went over the rowing terminology, the 4 components. So you have the catch, the drive, the finish, and the recovery. And I went over the 3 parts to the rowing stroke: push with your legs, core, arms, arms, core, legs. So what we're going to do now is kind of break it up a little bit and follow along if you want. But we're going to break it up a little bit so that it starts to become more routine, more natural. At first, this feels very jerky, not very smooth, and that's okay. The drill that I'm going to do in this video and the next video are actually drills that we do in the rowing boat as a warm-up. So every time I get out in the water and I'm rowing, I do this as a warm-up. It's what we do as a boat to get our bodies moving, to teach our body, hey, this is what we want you to do now. So even rowing in a boat after 18 years, I am still doing these drills, and they are still components that really help you. So even if you've been rowing for a long time, these can be really helpful. All right, so the first thing you're gonna do is strap yourself in, change that foot plate to what's comfortable for you, put that damper setting on what's comfortable for you. It's not gonna make a huge difference. With this, we're not looking for a huge connection with the machine. It's just about moving and the movement pattern. So what we're gonna do is start up here in the catch. Go ahead and grab your handle, bring it back. Now, if you are on any machine that has a handle like this, it's the same. If you are doing a machine that has 2 handles, you can do these the same way. When we're sculling, and that means having 2 oars in the water, we're doing it the exact same way. So you can do the same thing, just with 2 arms. So for this one, we're gonna go ahead and we're actually gonna start at the finish part. So for the finish, my knees are nice and straight, my core is tight, I'm sitting up nice and tall. I'm about at 11 o'clock and my shoulder blades are pinched together, my arms are down. Now, the part that I haven't talked about is kind of where to pull to, and we'll talk about that as we go a little bit. But you want to pull, so if I look at this chain, or if you have a band or whatever it is, you want it to be roughly a straight line. So if I pull up here, you can see it's kind of slanted. It also makes me do something funky with my wrists. And my wrists or my nerves or numbness and tingling or things like that might end up happening if I end up doing too much of this. So you want to keep nice and straight. It means you're going to keep the connection with the machine better. And you're just going to pull straight in here. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to break down the stroke into different components. So the first thing we're going to do is called arms only. So what I'm going to do is push my arms away, bring my arms back in. Push my arms away, bring my arms back in. Away, in. And we're just going to go back and forth. Now, one thing that we think about often is quick arms away. So my arms are quickly going away from me. And usually I do about 10 strokes, and as I'm talking, I'm gonna lose a little bit of count, but I think I've got it. But I'm sorry if we do a little bit more or a little bit less. So we're doing just arms. So now that you've got that, we're gonna switch to arms and body. All right, so arms and body, what we're gonna do is arms, body. So my body's gonna go from 1 o'clock to 11 o'clock. My arms stay the same. And now I'm going to do them together. So I'm going to go to 1 o'clock, arms, arms, 11. 1, arms, arms, 11. So trunk, arms, arms, trunk. Trunk, arms, arms, trunk. And we're just trying to break it up. It's going to feel kind of jerky. Remember to have your core tight. While you're doing this, you want your grip to be nice and loose. I usually do pinkies over the edge, and you can see I'm not death gripping. I'm just nice and relaxed as I pull, because there's really not that much to pull here. It's pretty light. It's only, remember, about 10%. So my core is getting some of that workout, and then the arms are jumping in. My legs are still bent. If you've got any tingling or nerve or sciatica or back pain or anything like that, you really want to keep your core tight, and there's some things you can do for your knees, but I kind of go over that in the body quirks, and you're welcome to message me if you happen to get any of those symptoms, and I'll help you out. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to bend our legs, but we're not going to go into the full stroke yet. We're going to break it up. So if I were to think of the whole slide stroke, where my sliding up, back and forth. This is the end. This is about 50%, and this is my full slide. So we call it slide. So all the way, 50%, full, and that's in the direction that we're going. So we usually think of it actually as like half, 3/4 full. So reversed it, half, 3/4 full. But what we're going to do for this one, because we're thinking about it going forward, is we're going to go to half. So don't overthink it. Basically, you're just trying not to get all the way forward on the catch. You're just going halfway up towards that catch. So now we're basically adding our legs in. So I'm going to go ahead and start back here. So we're going arms, core, halfway. Push till knees straight, core, arms. Arms, core, halfway, legs, core, arms. And remember that quick arms away. And with this, you're not super pushing. There's not too much to have to push. You might feel a little bit with the with your legs when you push, but we're not trying to do anything hugely drastic right now. You're not going to have that much connection with the machine. We're just trying to get things moving and get that form into the components. So we'll do 3-ish more here. So arms, trunk, legs, halfway, legs, trunk, arms, arms, trunk, legs, legs, trunk, arms. One more, legs, legs, trunk, arms. Now we're gonna go full slide. So now I'm gonna go all the way to the beginning, all the way to the catch position. I'm gonna push with my legs, core, arms, arms, core, legs, legs, core, arms. Now, one of the questions I get a lot is where do I push with on my feet? And we'll get there. Right now, don't worry too much. Just loose handles, worry about the 3 positions. If you focus on too many things at once, we tend to get lost. So legs, core, arms, arms, core, legs. Now you notice I can take a few strokes and make it pretty smooth. So it's a little less jerky. Now, as you get more comfortable, that'll happen and it'll be less jerky. But for now, just think about the components. Arms, core, legs, legs, core, arms. Now, the part where we're going forward is really key. We want to learn to be able to slow it down. Now, learning the recovery and slowing that down is really what's going to allow you to start to row longer periods. And the reason is we breathe then, we recover, and that's why it's called the recovery. So we'll do 3 more here. Legs, core, arms, arms, core, legs, legs, core, arms, arms, core, legs, legs, core, arms, core, legs. Okay, so some things that you might have noticed happening, I'll go over later in this module. Right now, I just want you to think about the components. Don't worry too much about too many things. And I'll go over some things that questions you might have had popping up while you were following along. But I will do that later in this module. And the next one, we're going to reverse this and do a different drill. So we're going to do a reverse drill, which is still working on that form and those components, and really working a little bit more on the exploding component and where you get your power from. So check out that next video and let me know if you've got any questions.